A lot of people in the world right now are going through an awakening. And I don't mean just a normal little spiritual awakening. Like, this is a mass awakening. And with that comes ascension sickness. And I hate ascension sickness. It's happened to me a couple times. And, I felt terrified the first time it happened to me, which was years ago. So I just want to bring comfort to you if you are going through ascension sickness. And make you feel like you're not alone, because you're not, because a lot of people are going through it right now. And I just went through another one last week, and I am still recovering from it in a way. So I'm going to explain the main symptoms that people go through. And before I do that, I have to do a disclaimer. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, please go visit a medical professional. Yeah, because even if you're like, oh, it is ascension, just go, it's okay to go to the doctor if you can, because a lot of these symptoms can point out a medical issue. They're kind of scary. Some of them can be really scary. So it's always good to get checked. If you are going through a Kundalini awakening, definitely expect ascension sickness. If you are on the twin flame journey, which if you are also probably going through a Kundalini awakening, you should be, expect ascension sickness. And if you are going through just an awakening, it all is going to be the same symptoms. It doesn't matter what you're going through. So this pertains to everyone. But I will say real quick, for those of you on the twin flame journey, if you are the feminine, you are going to experience worse ascension symptoms than the masculine, more than likely. That's just how it works. The feminine usually has to go through feeling more intense spiritual things in their physical body. At least in my case, that's probably not for everybody, but that's definitely the case for me. These symptoms can be different for everybody. You might have some, you might not, but the severity of them definitely will depend on you. And yeah, it just depends. I've gone through severe ones, severe symptoms, like I thought I was gonna die, and then other times it wasn't that bad. The main symptoms are dizziness. I hate that one. Dizziness, head pressure, headaches, nausea, stomach issues, gagging, and sometimes vomiting. Yes, vomiting can do that because your body is vibrating at a higher frequency, and higher energy is actually pretty uncomfortable for the physical body until you get used to it. So that is normal, but always check with the doctor. Okay, always check with the doctor. The one I hate the most is the rapid heart rate. I've actually felt like I was going to have a heart attack because of it. With the rapid heart rate, a lot of the time you will have breathing issues, like deep breathing or issues catching your breath. Now, this usually only goes on for a minute before it stops, and it comes in waves. It doesn't go on forever. If it did, literally call an ambulance, or honestly, because it's so intense sometimes that you could feel like you're gonna die. It can be that bad. Okay, so my first ascension, it was pretty horrendous. It was pretty painful. The last one I just went through last week sucked, but it was not as bad as the first one. And it didn't last as long either. So I think with each ascension, it gets a little less painful and intense. Thank God, because it can be annoying. So yeah, when you get the flu and you have the chills and you're shaking and you feel hot and cold, yes, that also comes with ascension sickness. It's literally the same as the spiritual flu. I think the spiritual flu and ascension sickness is the same thing. It feels like the same thing. To me, it's the same. One that I know does not happen to most people, but it happens to me, is tingling and numbness in your arms and legs. That goes on sometimes for weeks after your ascension sickness. That's always the remaining symptom I have. It's really annoying, but it's not painful. It's just irritating. And the last one is sleeping issues. So you might have insomnia, and usually when you're having insomnia, you have racing thoughts. Sometimes you can even have a little bit of an ego death during these experiences, and you also might be overly tired, and your brain might not be working properly, and you might be confused, and those can go back and forth. And also, ascension symptoms don't usually last more than a few days. For me, it's only, it usually only went on for 3 days or even one day. if you are going through, there's a bug. If you are going through a Kundalini awakening, your Kundalini symptoms will also go hand in hand with your Ascension symptoms. So if you are going through Kundalini awakening, you will be probably shaking in severe cases. You might be convulsing, and you will be purging out energy. So you might find yourself crying. Your emotions might be all over the place. Another thing is your senses will be heightened, and it can be pretty extreme. And I've said this in many videos, but it might feel like you're on psychedelics and not a good time, like a bad trip kind of time, like overwhelming. You know, everything's too bright and sounds are just too much, and you might be picking up on energies around you, and it can be really overwhelming. That will eventually die down. Okay, it's not supposed to be overwhelming like that forever. Your body will get used to this energy. It just takes a few days. Those are the main symptoms that I have experienced through my ascension sickness, especially on the twin flame journey. And if you have experienced any other ones, please leave them in the comments below, because I'm sure I didn't mention all of them. Those are just the main ones that I have gone through and that other people I know have gone through. But I hope this brings you some comfort so that you don't feel so alone when you're going through these kinds of things. Because, you know, the matrix doesn't really support this stuff. You're going to have people caught in the matrix, like, telling you you're crazy. But I'm here to tell you, yes, go to the doctor just to make sure. But other than that, you're not crazy. And congratulations, because guess what? That means you are raising your vibration. So, yes, it can kind of suck, but it is a very good thing that you are going through it. If you have any questions regarding ascension symptoms or anything like that, just leave them in the comments below. And I hope to see you in my next video.